Hey guys and gals, I know many of us come into the photography business hoping to strike it rich with wedding photography. And today I want to look at what is the reality of becoming a wedding photographer. Let's look at some of the pros and cons and decide if it's really for you. Hey everybody, I'm Phillip Blume coming to you from the home of Blume Studios and Community Photographers. We've been running a wedding photography business for over 10 years. And in that time, we've really come to understand the reality of both sides of this issue, kind of looking at this in black and white. A lot of people come toward wedding photography hoping it will be a cash cow, a golden goose, and that's really where the money is to be made in wedding photography. And we're going to look at that potential idea, but I will warn you, if you come to wedding photography just thinking it's going to be easy money, that golden goose is likely to bite you in the bum. So you may not make out quite the way you had hoped. And there are stressors involved. So let's look at three pros and cons. The first of those is wedding photography as a pro can be very profitable. It's true. Weddings are large budget events. This is where potential clients who are maybe usually holding back with their money, they wait their whole lives to spend on this. And so there really are different business models that you can create and still be profitable. I'm not, too snooty about the different business models that our students choose. Eileen's and my model started shoot and burn, just like most people getting into this business. And today we're a luxury brand where our average wedding might be $8,000, $9,000, or $10,000. And as you can see, if you shoot just 9 or 10 weddings a year, you can do the math. That can be a very profitable business model. But listen, even if you decide to do something very kind of high volume, low end, what if you're just charging $1,500 per wedding? Do you think you can book a lot of weddings that way? I mean, if you're taking good photos, that's a prerequisite. There are great photographers out there. The quality of photography has risen so much. You've got to start there. That's required. But if you can take good pictures and you'll charge much lower than the national average, just charging, say, $1,500, imagine if you booked, 40 weddings per year. Could you do that at that level, do you think? It'd be a lot easier to book 40 if you're just charging that much. Well, do the math. You're grossing $60,000 a year, which is not a bad income when you consider that with that kind of business model, you don't have a lot of overhead costs. It's your time and skill. So it can be very financially profitable, but on the con side, it can be very financially unstable. Remember, if you haven't owned your own business before, if this is your first small business venture, you just need to understand that it's like going into a job interview day after day. You know how much of a struggle that can be if you're unemployed and you're looking for work, and you're sitting before manager after manager trying to pitch yourself. That's what we do all the time. Every wedding consultation we have is us unemployed trying to get work. So get ready for some of that instability. You will, especially in early years, have great years where you think, oh, I nailed it. I've gotten into the right business, and you look like you are, killing it. And then you'll just have a year that fizzles, and you're not quite sure why. And I can tell you, after 10 years, after a decade of experience, kind of surviving and then thriving in this industry, my wife Eileen and I have learned a lot. But a lot of times it's a couple years looking back where you realize, oh, this is what we did wrong. This is our mistake. That's why that year fizzled out. And so I want to give you some solutions. So with every pro and con, let's look at a solution. If you're going to do this, if you're going to become a wedding photographer, don't just jump in and try to reinvent the wheel. Running a small business and specifically the workflows and the strategies that come with wedding photography have been done, and they've been done well by people who can mentor you. So I would say get a coach, get a mentor, and that's going to be the best possible solution to avoiding some of those unforeseen hiccups in the road. Someone who's been there before. Eileen and I learned pretty quickly and out of necessity that our biggest investment will always be in education and in mentors. And we've spent so much more on that than we ever have on equipment or marketing. Those things kind of fall in line as different priorities after education putting ourselves in workshops and under mentors who have been there. When you're looking for those mentors, there are people who will offer themselves to you as coaches all over the place online. Some people have found that they're better at pitching themselves online than they are at being photographers. And so watch out who you hire, watch out who you trust as a mentor, look at how much work they've actually produced, how long they've actually been around and survived, so you know they've been through every possible experience or some rendition of that, and choose wisely. So let's look at another pro and con. The pro of wedding photography work is you get to work for yourself. I mean, this is just the dream of self-employment, right? You can have a flexible schedule. You can sleep in if you want to. Eileen and I certainly have been blessed by the life that we've eventually built through our wedding studio, through Blume Photography, the Blumes, and we're able to travel, which is our passion. With our children, we have 3 children. They're able to, in this past year, visit Europe and Spain with us. We're buying tickets now to visit the Philippines. We can work and play while we travel, and it's a lot of fun. So it's kind of making not just money, but a lifestyle that you dream of. So that's a huge pro, right? The con of this, and you may have heard this saying before, but when it comes to being an entrepreneur, even if it's just your first entrepreneurial experiment with starting a photo business, we tend to be willing to work 80 hours a week just to avoid working the 40-hour work week, right? That's the crazy thing about entrepreneurs or self-starters. There's going to be a lot of work on the front end. That sleeping in is not going to happen right away. If you do too much of that, you won't get very far. So just be aware that your boss can be a slave driver when you're your own boss. And you'll have to be sometimes, but you also need to protect the sanity of your life, the health of your life, and kind of put systems in place when that client who, you are your business, so they expect you to be available at all times. You need to put some systems in place so you make sure that your brain isn't always on the clock. Even if your business is, you don't want your brain to be kind of always strained by that and miss out on personal relationships and real life stuff, which is what your life's about. That's why you want a business, right? You want a successful business to put value into your life, to give you the life you want, not to strip it out of that. So a couple of solutions for that. I would strongly suggest that you kind of put in some boundaries on yourself in terms of when you check emails. Check your emails once in the morning, at a certain time in the afternoon before you quit work. Make sure that you're responding, in that sense, quickly to clients who might have an emergency, but they don't see emails coming from you at midnight and expect that you're always available. If you set that expectation, then people are going to hold you to that. So your social media, don't get wrapped up in that. It's an addicting, well-researched addiction. Just give yourself once or twice a day on social media. You go to it with a purpose. And you may just have to stay away from it. Even if you enjoy social media, stay away from it otherwise. You're now a business person, not just a kind of a civilian who gets to enjoy all these things. They're tools for you now, so be a professional about them. And set yourself up for success. So let's look at another pro and con, the last one, guys. Pro is this idea that being a wedding photographer means I get to create artwork. I get to be a photographer. I get to play with this camera, do what I love with these sweet couples on the most beautiful, best day of their lives, right? That's what people will tell you. And they're like, oh, you're a photographer? How great must that be? And it's true to an extent. I mean, we love our couples. We've had couples. It's really the heart of our business, and what we love about it is couples who have become lifelong friends, couples who have made us godparents to their child, couples who invite us to their anniversary parties and really maintain this kind of connection. We're people. And if you're getting into wedding photography, you need to be a people person, I believe. So it can be a wonderful, wonderful thing. But let's not forget, on the con side of that, there's a lot of drama in the work we do. And it may not be with your couples that often. Rarely in 10 years have we ever had a true bridezilla. But often it's with the families, right? So there's a mother or a mother-in-law who wants control of the wedding photography and the schedule and they're contacting you and the bride is whispering in your ear, like, I don't want to cause conflict with my mother-in-law, but don't listen to her. And like, how do I juggle this? Why am I the mediator in this relationship situation? I'm just supposed to take pictures, right? So even if it's on the wedding day, there's divorces, there's relationship things going on. They're giving each other the stink eye when you put them in a family portrait combination together. Some of the solutions for those sorts of things are some practical things. We send out now a questionnaire to our couple ahead of time, well before the wedding, and we're not shy. We'll ask them, what are these situations in your family? What are some combinations during family portraits? Are there any we should avoid? And make sure that when you sign a contract with your couple, our contract stays very simple because we have over 10 years experience broken relationships, called off engagements, other issues. Our contract is with our bride. It doesn't matter who's paying. If her parents want to loan her money, if they're giving her money for her photography budget to pay for the wedding, that's between them. That's a gift. But our client is the bride, and one member of that couple to allow us that kind of legal safety net and protectionism. We can always go back to the fact that we have one clear client. So watch yourself, protect yourself that way, and just for us, it's just a matter of perspective. For our business, it's not just about taking pictures and handing them over to people who had a great experience. For us, our business is about more than pictures. Honestly, for us, our business is about marriages. It's something we really believe in. And if there's something within the wedding world that you really believe in and love beyond just photography, for us, that is the strength of the marriage, the true relationship. That's going to take you further than if you just make your business about pictures. So having that big view allows us to, through our communications with our clients, open up the door to them. Even if a year from now after your wedding, if you're having issues, if you need to talk to somebody outside of your usual friend circles and family, and just a listening ear who's not involved in the politics of family, we're open to our couples that way. And we value that. Occasionally, that has resulted in a phone call, unexpected, a teary former client who is, a long phone call and a lot of emotional investment into these people who have become our friends. So if you don't want that, don't offer it, because you will have to give it at some point if you offer it. And if you value that, though, it's going to be a joy to be able to do something purposeful with your business and meaningful in their lives beyond just the point and shoot of the camera. I think that's where a lot of photographers get burnt out, is it becomes just busy work, and there's not the challenge of real interaction. So decide if that's what you want to do. Listen, guys, there's some of the pros and cons, the reality of wedding photography. There's so much to learn. We hope that you'll stay connected with education through videos and articles like the ones that you're watching now. But if you need a mentor, if we're the right person for you, you can always get in touch with us. Or if you have a better connection with someone who's running a business more like what you envision, go after those mentors. Keep yourself professional, give yourself limits and a schedule, and put some practical things into effect in your business, questionnaires, contracts that really protect you against the otherwise cons of wedding photography. And I think that you will do much better and be much happier that way. I'm Phillip Blume, and I've enjoyed speaking with you guys. All the best to you.